What's poppin'? Real ones. Logan Murdoch here. Howard back there. Web exclusive edition where we discuss if your favorite playoff team is real or fake. Let's talk about the Phoenix Suns, whose season has been defined by something that happened in the beginning of the season, which was their blockbuster trade for Bradley Beal, where they just sent a boatload of picks out and the best front court player out in Aiden, and they expected just fireworks, and boy, did we get them. But maybe not in the way that the Phoenix Suns would have liked. Bradley Beal has been in and out of the lineup, and it seems like the Suns' defense leaves much to be desired, and doesn't seem like, even as a team that has had some moments in this season, doesn't seem like a team that, similar to the Kings, where anyone seems to be afraid of them. I don't think that the Nuggets are shaking in their boots whenever they see the Suns on the schedule. But I want to start back at that beginning of the season with the Bradley Beal trade. How do we feel about that trade months later? And if the Suns could get a mulligan and get somebody else, do you think that they would have used that trade emptying the trade coffers for somebody else?
Logan, I feel the exact same way about the Bradley Beal trade today as I did at the time, which could be best summed up as ack.
Yuck.
Yeah, I didn't like it then. I don't like it now. The season has unfolded exactly as you would have expected back then. Oh, you're trading for Bradley Beal? Good luck getting even half of a season out of him. And he's missed about 40% of the season, which is that's what he does. Like it's no, I'm not blaming Bradley Beal for that, but he hasn't been able to stay healthy for years now. He's making $50 million or like $46 million this season. He's got 3 years left at 50, 53, and $57 million on a player option in 26, 27. Like, I didn't like it at the time because of his health, his salary, his no trade clause, which comes with him. So you're now in the same position the Wizards were. And because this team needed so much more after emptying the coffers, after trading nearly everything they had to get Kevin Durant to put him with Devin Booker, you needed to spread out the remaining of your payroll on the requisite role players, defenders, length, size, everything. And instead it's all tied up in one frequently injured former All-Star. It was a mistake then. It's a mistake now. Again, that's not a knock on Beal. It's just where he is in his career, and it's where the Suns are. I never really bought into the idea of this kind of pseudo super team that they have. And I think the regular season has vindicated that position.
It was the classic NBA 2K. Hey man, that dude is really good. I think he would look nice, and I think we could bring him into our program and make him a champion. And that's why NBA 2K is a video game and not real life. But it does speak to a bigger question, which is what I like to call the new owner syndrome, where you have a guy like Matt Ishbia wants to make a splash in Phoenix, which I think is if Phoenix does it right, is a sleeping giant in terms of what it can do for in the NBA and its presence in the NBA. But we tend to get this when we have new owners who want to make a splash and want to see, oh, Kevin Durant's on the market, we're going to get him. Bradley Beal's on the market. I mean, it sounds good, right? It'll sell a lot of tickets, but the thing that new owners get messed up a lot is you kind of have to feel your way through this right now. And my question to you is, Matt Ishbia has great ambition. He has great ideas. But did he go too fast in trying to build a contender? And if so, which is, I think your answer is yes, what does that mean for the Suns going forward and the mess that he is going to have to clean up when it comes to the front office and beyond with this roster construction in years to come?
Definitely new owner syndrome. Maybe the most extreme version of it we've ever seen, because it was literally like a day after or 2 days after he took control of the team that he made the trade for Durant, which cost them almost all their future draft capital. And then doubling down on that, tripling down on it, quadrupling down on it, whatever it may be, and getting Beal, you have completely handcuffed your front office And, it's with the front office's obviously involvement, but I think there's a lot of Ishbia fingerprints on all this. But you've handcuffed yourself for years to come because if this crashes and burns, Logan, what are your options? Bradley Beal's not tradable. I know we would say he was untradeable before the Wizards actually did trade him, but okay, they traded him to one team that was super desperate, and there were some other circumstances involved there. I don't know that there's another landing spot for him with 3 years left at the numbers that I mentioned earlier. He also has a no-trade clause, further complicating matters. So if that can't be the fix, you're not trading Devin Booker. That's the core of your team. You don't want to retrade Kevin Durant unless Durant were to once again ask out. So you're stuck. You're stuck. You have traded away all of your future draft assets. You have no flexibility. At this point, if they were to flame out in the playoffs, you're basically just praying that there are a bunch of really solid free agents who want to come play for the minimum and chase titles alongside Durant and Booker. That's it. That's the solution.
And usually when people go to take the minimum to title chase, they'll go to somebody that has a real chance at winning the title. Now, on paper, the Phoenix Suns, I guess you could say, yeah, but they also play in a conference where the Denver Nuggets exist. So if I'm a free agent that's trying to go for the minimum, I'm trying to go to Denver before I go to Phoenix to try to win a title. And that's what I think that they're pushing up against. But the biggest thing is, what can the Suns do if this doesn't work out? Because, I mean, you're already hearing the rumblings of around the league that KD is not happy with what's going on right now. You're hearing those rumblings. You're hearing the rumblings that Frank Vogel maybe isn't the guy to lead this team. There's a lot of just icky stuff with this team. I'm giving you the GM hat right now. You're getting a big raise. We're going to put you on sabbatical from Spotify. Go to Phoenix. What is your first move, Howard? What are you doing with this roster if it doesn't work out? What are you doing overall? Who are you? What is your plan for your sabbatical in Phoenix?
I love that we're already doing this in March before the playoffs even started. We're already going to fix the Suns. Honestly, depending on how badly this goes, because like I said, I have not been a fan of this approach from the start. I actually would go to Kevin Durant. He's going to be 36, by the way, on opening night of next season. 36, post Achilles, post all those foot surgeries from his Oklahoma time. His window is really small right now, Logan. Like, really small. And if I don't believe I can fix this team in the near term with an unmovable Bradley Beal and a guy I don't want to trade in Devin Booker and a supporting cast that's just not good enough and a soon-to-be 36-year-old Kevin Durant, no owner's going to actually do this because no one's going to admit a mistake that quickly, ever. But I would go to Kevin Durant and ask him, listen, I'm not sure this is working. You're not sure this is working. Is there somewhere you'd want to go? Because you could probably recoup, even at age almost 36, you can recoup quite a bit from Kevin Durant probably. And maybe that starts to unclog your cap and tax issues a little bit, replenishes the rest of your roster a little bit. It does set you back, though. Like, the problem with going down that road, even as I'm saying this, like, off the top of my head, your mind immediately goes to what's Devin Booker going to think. Because Booker and Beal together is not enough when Beal is only playing 40%, or 50% of every season. You're back where you were, years ago, pre-Chris Paul acquisition. And, now that depends on what you get back for Durant. But, if you were to say that this didn't work, you admit defeat and you spin off Durant and you try desperately to send Beal somewhere and you're not going to, it raises a Devin Booker question. You don't want this to lead to a place where the next thing you know, Devin Booker is asking out. That's.
So are you making the argument that they should just take it down to the studs if this doesn't work out? Because that means you might have to trade Devin Booker too.
Well, if you start going down that road, it almost suggests. I'm not saying you would do that proactively. I'm of the opinion that when you have, whether it was Devin Booker in this case or Dame Lillard in Portland, you don't trade the guy of that caliber and that stature with your franchise unless they want out. I'm not proactively trading him against his will, but Devin Booker might ask out if things are going off the rails, which is why, Logan, the most likely outcome of everything is that they just stay the course. Unless somebody or multiple guys were to ask out, you probably just stay the course, cross your fingers, hope some free agents want to join in on the minimum this summer, and hope for a better outcome next season. But I don't think you're getting that. Durant another year older, Beal another year older. There's not going to be a better version of this coming next.
It's pretty tough, which leads to the segment you guys have all been waiting for, which is, are the Phoenix Suns real or are they fake?
I'm going to give them a 20% chance of proving to be real, but they are 80% fake minimum. I'm giving Logan serious headaches here. Listen, there is some version of it. It's kind of like with the Mavericks and some of these other lower tier teams in the West, where the firepower and the names on the roster are so impressive that you look at it, you go, man, I just don't want to rule these guys out. Something might break their way. And they're good enough if they get a break or two to make a deep run. But no, as constructed, I have felt from the beginning that the Suns were not a legitimate contender. And as we head into the playoffs now, yeah, ultimately, Logan, I'm sorry, they're fake.
Thank you for making that 100% by the end of your take, please.
It was like 97.
Just finally. Okay, all right. I'm going to go with 100% fake. This team is who they are. The best team in the conference is Denver, and we saw how that worked out last year. Whenever their big gets into foul trouble, Phoenix's big gets into foul trouble, you have Kevin Durant guarding Nikola Jokic, which will never work out in the Suns' favor. So for those reasons, I'm out. So fake, great star power, fun to watch when they're in your city, but not a team that I will trust to win an NBA championship.